Is selling clothes and shoes worth it on eBay? That's the question. Just got me thinking. I was looking at the eBay forum and I've noticed a lot of the guys that complain about problems with customers, significantly not as described cases. They tend to all sell in the apparel section, like shoes, clothes, um, clothing accessories, and I don't know if it's worth it. The margins are very slim anyways. You're fighting against Chinese sellers that are dispatching from China cheaper than you can send locally. The profit margin must be tiny unless you've got a very tight niche. But even so, the amount of headache you're gonna get from that section, I'm always seeing issues where people won't read the listings. Just say you're buying a pair of shoes and you're selling size 9. Customer will buy size 9, but her feet aren't the same. So one size 9 isn't going to be the same as another size 9. They'll be almost the same, but not quite the same. So you can get that disappointed customer. She can say, well, this size 9 doesn't fit right. I've always took 9. What's going on? Same thing with clothing in general. She might buy like a size 12 and normally she wears 12, and maybe this 12 that she buys from you might be slightly tighter or slightly looser. Then you're just asking for trouble as far as item not as described or negative feedback. It's just, is it worth it? Even as far down as the colors, your listing could be red, a red skirt, but to the customer's eyes that could be orange, and legitimately she could think that's orange. Or it might appear red in the picture, but in person it might appear orange when she gets it, or vice versa. Or customers are crazy, and it's really the buyer's opinion on eBay. The seller doesn't really get a say on what's red or what color it is. If the customer says it isn't the right color, it isn't the right color as far as eBay is concerned, and you're just opening yourself up to abuse of snads. And snads are usually opened when there's buyer remorse, generally speaking. So if a customer buys an item and she just generally changed her mind, or she feels after she's got it she feels it's overpriced, or for whatever reason she doesn't want it, it's easy for her to click item not as described and to write in the comments fake or wrong color, or something that she can alleviate the blame like from herself onto you. So it begs the question, is anyone here selling in the clothing category, the apparel category? What's your thoughts on it? Have you thought about changing categories? Because it's a big issue, and this is what I've always tried to avoid selling clothing for this exact reason. For a brief period we used to sell handbags, and even then we used to run into the problem of the bag's too small, or the bag's too big, or whatever that the excuse was that month. The funny thing is, we had the measurements on the item precisely as it was. All they had to do is take out measuring tape and they will know exactly how big the item is. But yet we'll still get customers that don't read the listing, that don't measure themselves, that look at the picture and assume it's going to be one size based on that picture. They get disappointed, then they're opening snads. So we learned the hard way, and that was just a brief stint in the bag section. But there's other people that are selling more items that are more suspect and more likely to receive snads, like shoes, clothing in general, skirts. It's usually the women's section, because generally speaking, from what I found, just through reading the forum and speaking to other sellers, is that the people that sell men's clothes, they don't have the same amount of issues, because typically a size 32 belt or a size 32 waist, even if it's slightly baggier, a guy would probably just accept that. They're not expecting an exact fit. If it turns out to be an inch shorter or inch wider, you know, they're not gonna, it's not too much of a big deal. But girls are very, when they buy stuff, they want it to be very perfect. Even when they're in a physical store itself, you know, they would try it on, and even then they won't be happy with it. So the fact that they're buying it remotely online, there's no way to really please them unless they do those due diligence and measure, which they most likely won't. But again, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Is it an issue? Isn't it an issue? Have you thought about changing sections? Let us know. Good day.